So today we want to take a look at how to make a histogram using the graphing calculator. So our first step is going to be to enter our data into a list. We're going to need to hit the Stat key and then hit Enter, which will take us to our lists. And then we're going to enter the data. We're going to use the dominant hand data on page 84 of your textbook. So we'll type the first data point 27 and hit Enter, and then continue with the rest of the data points. From here, I need to set a window. So I need to think about a few things first. What's my minimum value? What's my maximum value? And how do I trap all the information I need on the calculator? So I'm going to go to Window, and I know that my minimum value is 6 and my maximum value is 54. So I'm going to start at 0 because that's smaller than 6 and it's a nice number. I can count from that by pretty much anything, and it'll get me to where I need to go in a nice way. And I'm going to go up to 60. The X scale is going to be really important. It's going to determine how big or how small your bars are going to look. So if I, let's say, try to count by 1, let's leave it at 1 and see what happens. The Y-min, we're always going to start at -3 on the calculator. That's going to give me a little space underneath the X-axis so that I can see the values when I hit trace. And the Y-max of 10 should be fine. The next thing I need to do is turn the graph on. So to do that, I'm going to hit the yellow second key, it's blue on this calculator, and the Y equals button. That takes me to my stat plots window. The first graph right now is off, so I'm going to hit Enter. I have my toggle blinking on the on, so I'm going to hit Enter to turn that graph on, and then I need to go down and choose the type. We need it to be on histogram, so we are going to go 1, 2 spaces over and hit Enter. This X list is going to be really important because it tells the calculator what you want to go on your histogram. And in our case, our information's in list 1, so we're good. From here, I'm going to hit the graph key. Okay, so we've got an error here, and it says error stat, and it's telling us we need to quit. The reason for this stat error is that our X scale is way too small. What we're telling the calculator we want to do here is make 60 bars, and that's way, way, way too much for that little tiny screen. So if you ever get an error stat message, you have to go back and change your X scale. So let's try something else. Let's try 20. So I can count by 20 with no problem. But when I go to my screen where my graph is, this doesn't look very good. It doesn't tell me a lot of information. These bars are way too big, and I hardly see any information at all. So let's go down and try something different. So maybe we'll try 10. That's a nice number to count by. I'm going to hit graph. So that looks a lot better. I don't want to always just go with the first attempt here at an X scale though, so let's go back and say, okay, well maybe we want to go a little smaller. Maybe let's try 5, because again, that's a nice number to count by. That one's great too. I think if it were me, I would choose 5 because it gives me a lot of information here and I'm able to more easily see the skewness of the graph and the gaps and clusters.